Welcome to the Reticle podcast, where I, 3-Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. Welcome back to Reticle podcast, everyone. I am here with my girl, Christina Baker. Her and I are slaying the PCC world, and don't let her tell you any differently because she's rocking it. And Christina has started in a different place, actually, than USPSA. So tell me about that when you got started shooting.
Okay, so I am a travel nurse, and I started in Iowa.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
I got into guns just for the protection aspect. I'm traveling across the country as a nurse. All I have is 2 really sweet dogs that aren't going to protect me. So I knew I needed a gun. It took a little while because I wanted to get what I wanted. Mm-hmm. I went in and I bought a Glock 19.
Nice. That's a good choice. And first firearm.
Started training with friends for an IDPA match, and my first match was a IDPA night match in Iowa.
A night match?
Yes.
Like fully dark as the sun sets, or what?
Fully dark.
What? That's kind of cool.
I had to have been holding a flashlight. I don't remember, but we put some glow sticks on her back, so somebody's downrange, and it was first match. Let's go.
That is so cool. I feel like that would be the best first experience.
Oh yeah, it was good. It went well. It was safe. It was just let's just go slow and safe for everybody. Of course, there's people that are like, "Oh, I'm gonna run down this so fast." Like, no, slow down. It's our first night match, but
that's neat. Good. So, did addiction kind of start right then and there after that match?
It was. Yeah, I definitely wanted to keep going. Kept with the IDPA, even had a little bit of 2-gun. I went to a couple IDPA clubs in that area. And then one buddy got me to go to a USPSA match in South Dakota.
Okay.
And then if I wasn't already full on addicted, that was so much fun.
Yeah. Now for the Glock 19 too, for IDPA, what division did you shoot there versus what did you shoot in USPSA?
SSP, so stock service pistol. So cool. Just a straight stock Glock 19. Ran that for a long time.
Nice. Is that where the Glock?
I got a Glock 17, I think, and then a Glock 34 actually. So
you and I had a similar progress. I sold my 34. It was way too big for me. Okay, the stock service pistol, I'm familiar with that. And then were you a novice when you started out with IDPA?
Yes.
Me too. Yeah.
I think right now I'm a marksman, which is just one step above.
Me too. I shot once, then I bumped, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't think I have I know I don't have a current classification in IDPA, because IDPA, you actually have to do that within a year to be up to date. So versus classifying USPSA, you're classified
forever. For USPSA too, did you go into production since that's kind of similar to IDPA, or did you shoot limited or what?
Of course not. That would only make sense to go into production. I'm like, USPSA, I'm loading up. I'm like, I can put a full magazine, 100% what I'm doing. So I shot limited minor for a very long time.
Hey, that's
like 3 years or something like that. I had very little help. I was going club to club too. Mm-hmm. So people would just be like, watch me and be like, what are you doing? What's that? I'm like, did you know that there's larger magazines out there? And I'm like, oh yeah? Like a 21, 22 rounder? I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. It's like, and did you know you can maybe reload the gun and when it's not empty? And I'm like, oh.
That's smart.
That's probably smart.
That's cool though.
It was very slow progression.
Yeah.
Until I went to New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire, that's when everything changed. Because this one guy took me under his wing, Pete Gilbert. He's a state trooper. He runs protection for the governor there. And he recently got hired with SIG, but he actually was like, I want to teach female shooters to do this the right way. I think he sees how we come in and we kind of struggle a little bit sometimes, or at least with the speed aspect of it or something. And he took me and my friend Devin McManus. She was the match director for 2 years for Area 7. And he took us both under his wing and actually taught us how to draw and just kind of totally different path. We went from just these pew pew. She went from like the tactical aspect where her draws like, you know, with like her 3-step draw, right? So took that away, and you know, and she's well on her way to A class. She just switched carry optics, and I'm on my way to A class also. Right. So it's just blown up from there. And I got a training buddy, and that was Devin. So that was huge. Like somebody to go to the range with once a week. That was a whole different.
I'm jealous too that it was a friend, like a gal friend, because there's not very many females that shoot, and she's phenomenal. She knows what I love about Devin too is that she's an RO, a CRO, she volunteers, she's involved, she's very, very, very like professional, but also a very good shooter. And that says something, you know, like when you can back it up, and that's awesome.
Well, it's 100% God put us together, because she's my sister in Christ, and one of her gifts that God gave her is the gift of service.
Yeah.
So she's there first thing in the morning, one registering people with a smile on her face. I'm there like very last because I'm always running late. And I mean, I'll stay late, but I'm like the hype man. So my gift is joy. That's what God gave me. So I'm like, happy, let's go. It's going to be okay. And, you know, God put us together. Total opposite beings too.
Yeah.
The story I'm definitely not going to tell on podcast because it would be inappropriate. But but like the difference between me and Devin is truly night and day.
Yeah.
You could not find two more different people, but yet it just worked.
Yeah, it's me and Jesse too.
Oh yes. Oh, just like that.
Completely.
Yep. Exactly.
Christina and I are soul sisters in the bad way. Great.
Yeah.
No. Moving on.
Also fun.
Okay. All right. So New Hampshire was next. So where did you move after that?
Oh, we skipped a little bit. Let's see.
Okay, let's back up.
I went, so Iowa, and my first club was South Dakota, and I shot 3-gun there too.
Nice.
That was crazy. I got my first DQ there, actually, because I didn't put the safety on when I barreled the gun. I had my first rifle malfunction ever, and I was like, and they were like, hit the forward assist. I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. And I finally barreled the gun because there was a time limit. Yep. And they were like, stop. And so as far as DQs go and safety-wise, that one wasn't so bad.
No.
But I did a little bit of that. But then I moved to Billings, Montana. Ooh. So I went to the club there. One really cool thing about Billings, Montana is they have chick shooters there. Like enough to have full squads of girls.
Cool.
And even one of the people that managed the action shooting was a female. So, and if you know Tammy and Matt Waite, they CRO for nationals. They're from there. So
yeah,
now it's full circle. So they were doing it back then, and now I'm like showing up, and it's like, hey guys, remember me? Like, barely, you know, and I wasn't involved in like helping set up and stuff. I mean, I would help set up with them sometimes. And I would always message Tammy, be like, I'm running late. Please don't take me off because and you know, they ran a good club, good matches. It's like 70 something, and they would do pledge allegiance before you shoot. I always appreciate that.
I do too.
In the very, very distance of that range there's mountains. Of course, there's the cold, so you're limited. I think they start in May or they might start in March if they can, but
because it's cold. Now, have you ever been to a 3-gun match or anything? I know that you kind of shot it a little bit with Mike Dell. Do you know that name?
No.
So he always sang the national anthem for all of us. So he's got a wonderful voice. And you think about it, when I grew up in school, we used to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Baseball stadiums used to do that. Some do, some don't. I think that's very powerful because what we are doing is celebrating our American rights. I think a lot of people kind of miss that. I think that's really neat to start off any match like that, local or major.
And especially in the shooting sports, you would think that would be 100% something we do.
Right. Because it's the only thing is our government, and that Constitution is why we have these firearms and can do this sport.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Neat. Okay, so Montana.
Yes.
What happened after Montana?
Montana, I went to Wyoming, and it's the only place I went that I didn't shoot.
Wow.
I looked, there was a club in Jackson Hole, but I was never off the time they had a match. But so instead of shooting, I actually traveled around and did fun things, like went to like 5 national parks and a bunch of different states and just took the dogs everywhere. So I didn't shoot in Wyoming, but then my next stop was New England.
Okay.
First time up in New England, except for maybe visiting back in the day. And I went to Augusta, Maine. And they had a indoor match over the winter. Mm-hmm. And that's where I met Lee Cabana, was the person registering people. So Area 7 director, current vice president of USPSA. And I met him, super big smiling face. And I also met the Beals. So Nick and Jay Beal were there. And I was like, talk about a head tilt. They were doing appendix carry at the time and killing it. And I'm like, that's all just pull from appendix and shoot. I'm like, what's going on? So they shot open, but it's just carry optics gun. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was interesting. And I watched them grow there. That was pretty cool. But it was a good club, good people up there. They say they're crazy, but there's a lot of crazy people up there. But the shooters are they're pretty just like kind of country people, really, at heart. Well, especially they're like on the farms and stuff.
Well, and Maine has a lot of pretty land. I think a lot of people miss that. I actually have friends that moved there from college from Florida, and they have a farm. So yeah.
Good people.
All right, Maine next.
Okay, Maine, and then I went to Tilton, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And so that's what brought me to Pioneer Sportsman's Club. Mm-hmm. And that's what brought me to Pete and Devin. So many great people. And of course, Mason and Kaylee Lane are there. Became some of my good friends. And the training really picked up. I think my first training there was probably with Mason. But actually, I forgot somebody in the whole history of everything. In Iowa, before this full even shot USPSA, I took just some handgun lessons, a little bit for competitive shooting, and I still use some of the things he taught me today with handgun reloads and things. Mm-hmm. And that's Lane Grease with Bass and Black Performance. He's in the top for carry optics. He was out of the box GM. I think it took him like 5 whole minutes to go from M-class GM when he got classified in USPSA in limited.
Wow.
So he's very impressive guy. But I met him, and then I went from one lane to another lane, I guess. I don't know what that thing is, but lanes are good shooters.
Right.
What can I say?
So the New Hampshire, was that when you kind of moved from, like you said, like I kind of did it, wandering around for a couple of years shooting, and then finally was like, all right, I need to go take a class or get training and like start taking it seriously? Is that what changed?
Yes. I don't know, this thing called dry fire started happening. That was helpful. And just training with the right people and actually learning, what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I even shot 40 caliber limited for a little bit. I actually borrowed Pete's block and shot 40. So cool. I shot 35. And then I switched to production eventually. It's like, okay, this is actually the equipment I have to be competitive in this division. Let me do that. And I shot production, but a little bit of 3-gun. One thing I started doing in New Hampshire that was different was actually getting involved in helping with the sport a little bit more.
Yep.
So I got my RO. I worked Area 7 a couple years, aiming for 0 matches. I worked. I mean, if I was at the club, I was working.
Nice.
And shooting. So that was good. And there's a lot that goes into that. So if you haven't helped at your local club, I highly recommend it because they will appreciate that greatly. And we need you. Everybody needs you. I mean, I've been running around a lot lately, so I haven't been doing that so much, but
yeah,
it's costly to take off work. And if I can swing in there and shoot the match without taking off work and then be back to work, it's kind of
it's great. I mean, yeah, you and I both, I've worked a ton of matches and now it's like, I did a lot and I kind of got burnt out. But yeah, I think that a lot of people too, when they start the sport, I think that they're not aware of like the volunteerism that goes into the sport, right? They're like, all right, something to shoot. And they don't know that everybody is volunteer and somebody's setting that up and somebody's like, nobody's paid to do that.
Right.
And then probably too, like right off the bat is they don't know that they can get involved or how to get involved because you're so green, or they don't know that there's classes like RO, certification. So that's eye-opening too. I think when they finally realize, oh, there's like 800 different things going on.
Yes. And there's a whole lot. I like nighttime setups the day before. That's my favorite. Instead of getting up early again,
Same.
I can sleep in any day during the weekend.
So you and I are both. You're what?
I'm night shifter. So.
Yeah. I'm a PM shooter. Like I'm not an AM shooter. I'm a PM shooter.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I made sure to get that PM squad for our upcoming South Carolina match too, because
I can't wait for that.
I'm like, I'm coming from Miami. Okay, so now I'm in Miami, and that's far away from everything. Like, oh yeah, Florida seems not far. Mm-hmm. Oh no, so far. Takes 8 hours to leave the state. 8 hours.
You're gonna get all the way there for a half day, like 5-hour match too. It's a good format, but it is short. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna drive probably I don't know 4 or 5 times the amount of
shooting time.
Shooting time or even like range time.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, range time, not shooting time. You're not shooting for 5 hours. You're shooting for about 200 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, but New Hampshire, did you go straight from there to Miami?
So I went to Virginia, which is where I am from. So I am from Virginia. My home is in Richmond. I went to school in Richmond, and I've spent very little time there ever since I left. And I went and lived with my mom and worked at the local hospital that I was born at in Newport News. Mm-hmm. So for the very first time, so I've been shooting for probably 4 years or something, and I had never shot a match in Virginia.
Really?
So I actually got to meet some of those USPSAers there, and I went and I shot some in South Carolina too. So Sir Walter Gun Club, that's a very impressive local match. It's 8 stages, nice. Tons of GMs. That's somewhere like, and even like a local steel match near Richmond.
Okay.
And that's also, so I moved to Virginia at the exact time the state went totally blue and they went after your guns.
Oh, so great.
Talk about God things, because here I am. I've not been home for probably 6 years at that point. And then guess who's coming home? I'm coming home, and we're going to keep our rights. There's no way you're taking guns from this sweet travel nurse and you want to make me a felon like 100 times over. I mean, the laws were insane, magazine limits and stuff, and they were making these felonies, like not just slaps on the wrist. I mean, it was crazy. So that's when I got active in gun rights too.
That's awesome.
That was really, really good timing. I don't know what I would have done if all that stuff was going on in my state and I wasn't there. That would have been awful.
So talk about that a little bit, of how you like used your voice in terms of like the political nature and got involved. Because I think a lot of people miss that point of it. I'm starting to do a little bit more of that in Tennessee, just because I'm speaking at an event this summer about the change in our open carry and constitutional carry, but the value in like the permit and taking a class still, it's not required of you, but it should be as like a caring citizen, right? Of going to get educated.
Right.
I'll go ahead and share your experience. Yeah. In Virginia.
That's awesome. So We live this wonderful life full of freedom, and people had to sacrifice that, and they still do every day. I'm an Army brat. My dad has been deployed for 7 months at a time. He's an officer, so he had it good versus enlisted people be gone for a year or more with very little respite, and some people die when they get deployed. So this is people live their whole lives dedicating themselves to protect our country and our freedoms, and we just get to enjoy it. Well, what people don't realize is there's actually a fight going on all the time, and right here on our soil, and that's our rights are being attacked every day, all the time. So the first thing we do is we vote. Okay, that's the first thing we do to protect our rights. Mm-hmm. You should take that very seriously, do some research. And the Second Amendment is what protects everything. People might not understand that, but it's really what it comes down to. If we didn't have guns to keep our government in check, not hunting, not even self-defense, if we didn't have guns to keep our government in check, they could do whatever they want.
Yep. Yeah.
People in China are being locked up in their house without food or water because of COVID or whatever. It's full control. They have full control of their citizens because they're unarmed. Yeah. Period. It's the right's a big deal. And there's thousands and thousands of laws on the books right now. No law is good right now. No. We give us something back. They're all bad. Like any extra, like can we just work on what we got even? Nothing extra. Do not add anything. No compromise. We compromise all the time, and it's ridiculous. So when somebody comes in and they're like, oh, we're going to take away your capacity for just like the Glock 19 I got originally, that was going to be illegal. They were going to make competitive shotguns, like something on those were going to be a felony. I mean, everything. So I went up and I'm like, oh, that scary AR-15, mine's purple, and it's not hurting anybody, and it's mine, and you can't have it. And I'm like, I'm a nurse. I save lives. You let me protect mine.
Yeah.
Let me protect mine. And the nurse aspect, especially as soon as COVID happened, I was a hero or whatever. It's my job. I'm blessed to find something that I love doing and something that helps people. I'm blessed. I'm glad I'm doing this, but it did give me another angle, like as a female and as a travel nurse. I mean, and this is something that people aren't with people all the time, period. But I happen to be traveling across the country, doing a job that helps people. And you're going to tell me I can't protect myself how I choose to? That gave me a voice, and everybody has a voice. So to vote, but then also to call your senator or your House representative or anybody, local, city council, any of that, to call or email. And I mean, you don't talk to these people. You just leave a message most of the time. So you don't have to sound cool or well put together. Just say, and you don't even have to focus on a bill. Hi, my name's this. My address is this. And I am completely against any gun control. And I believe the Second Amendment should be protected at all costs, period. I mean, if that's all you do once a year, that's something.
Yeah.
Because then that person has heard that and they do make note of it. You do make a difference. That's what people don't realize. We are now a completely red state in Virginia. The guns had something to do with it, but then so did the school stuff, the public school things going on there. That's pretty bad. That definitely helped. But the attack on gun rights was a big part of that too.
It's interesting. Go ahead.
People woke up.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the nurse aspect of stuff. So I have several friends that in Tallahassee, they're EMS. So they're police officers. They're actually on the ambulance trucks and they're doing all these services. And I've had several that have shown up to a live shooting. And your job is to go take care of somebody on the ground, right? That's whether they're still alive or not. I mean, that's your job. And they're having to get out and sacrifice their lives of gunfire. And we know this now of where these people are going after innocents, people that have families, kids, real lives. Like they're just doing their job and, getting killed for it, which is not
It's awful. So it's surprising to me, and I get it and I don't get it, of how like those people can't have a gun or carry a gun or have one in the ambulance or something like that, because I don't know if that'll ever change, but it's just, they're walking into it too. Firefighters, same thing.
Oh, well, yeah, I can't imagine it. So I'm in hospital, and I'm an ER nurse, so I talk to pre-hospital people a lot, and there's been very few situations. I walked this one lady home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember why, but it was, she rode in a wheelchair, and I was getting off work at like 3 a.m. or something. I mean, you can best believe I didn't go with her without being armed.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how creepy it was going into somebody's house, like just to make sure she had, I don't remember what it was, but just to make sure she had what she needed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, EMS people do this all the time. I mean, sure, they have their partner, but they never know what they're walking into. If it's sketch, one thing they have is police to back them up. So they call them, they sit, they wait, police get there, then they proceed.
Sure.
So there's that.
Well, like you said, they're not in the pocket. A police officer is not just going to hop out of the pocket. It's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes before they get there. Yeah.
I mean, I would not do that job unarmed.
I know. And that's the other thing. So if we had more people not doing it, which is
like, I just lost my job again. I got busted with a gun. Well, oh well, at least I'm alive. So
right.
But that's me. I care less and less about the rules and the laws.
Sure. Yeah, because they're not there to protect you or help you, for sure.
No, they aren't. I'm responsible for me, and I don't want to be a victim. So just my biggest advice would be to wear the right clothes and the right holster.
Yeah.
And keep it concealed. And I mean, I'm pretty loud. I got a Let's Go Brandon bracelet on, and I have a big orange Gun Saves Live sticker on the back of my car. I will take that off if I'm going through an unfriendly state, or if I'm in a neighborhood that I think I shouldn't have that on there. But
yeah,
or if I have guns that are staying in my car, I will take it off. But so I'm going through my own advice here. But
sure,
as far as going out and protecting yourself, like in a bar, you're not drinking, but you still want to protect yourself. You just better be wearing the right type of holster and the right clothing that you won't get in trouble.
In some states, that's actually legal. In Tennessee, it's legal. It's like if you take a drink, it's completely illegal, but you can. And like concealed. I tell people this all the time. It's like, you should not know that I have a gun. I don't want you to know that I have a gun.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far in the weeds there, but I was just curious about, being a traveler.
That's a whole nother podcast.
I know. But yeah, it's interesting. Like you've gone all over the places. You've seen the places that you've gone to, and like, you're your own first responder, and whether it's night shift or not, it doesn't matter. It's just, it can be anytime, anywhere. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So when did you switch over? I got to know, to PCC, to the purple PCC.
Let's see. How did that happen? I was shooting production for like a year and a half, and I got a slot at PCC Carry Optic Nationals.
Cool.
I was going between Carry Optics or PCC. Of course, there's like Kaylee Lane, and she's like, Carry Optics, obviously, or like Luigi, and he's like, that is the only division. Or like, so I have all these people like around me, like Carry Optics, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get it together by then. Little did I know that PCC, there's a lot to get together with that.
Yes.
Depending on what you shoot. A lot less if you are shooting a Davinci, because out of the box it works.
Runs.
You don't have to figure out anything. And my life is really good right now, not having to worry about a gun. But when you build one or buy one from somewhere else, you actually have kinks to work out. So it was very messy for a while, and it wasn't until Nationals where I had like a gun problem, ammo problem free match.
Yeah.
It wasn't until right before Nationals. Actually, my silent capture system blew out in my backup gun. I was going between my backup gun and my regular gun, and was debating which one I liked more. And right before the one I said I was going to use the match, the rings in my silent capture system blew out. I don't know why. I still haven't fixed it. It's no problem. I'm shooting something else now, but I'm just like, I don't know if you saw my story, like right before Nationals. I'm like, is this bad? And it's just like,
oh yeah,
PCC pieces flying around. My silent capture system, it was awful. And my extractor was broken. It was crazy. I'm like, all these problems. I'm like, PCC, 99 problems. And that anything can be one.
Oh, yeah.
In that. But I actually shot a match on my birthday, and it was a classifier match, and I shot carry optics and PCC, so I could get classified in both. And just kind of figure it out from there. So I went with PCC, and I was thinking about going. What was I going to do? Oh, I was probably going to go to carry optics, but this company called Davinci came around and was like, "Want to shoot PCC for us?" And I was like, "Yes, please."
Yes, please.
I'm like, I was right on the edge of burnout, right with you. Mm-hmm. We were both like, we were so burnt out at this. We're like doing all this, and why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, why? But
some problems will do that. Yeah.
I think some things came together for both of us and for the better, and all that shooting we did all by ourselves around the country, getting burned out, having good matches and a lot of bad matches, and just having to deal with it on your own, and you know, not necessarily anybody to hang out with at the end of the match, and you're just sitting there. Sometimes I'd have my puppies, that helped, but otherwise I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm like, this was just all rough, and I drove like 20 hours.
Million hours, yeah.
It's so crazy. But now I'm on a team, so it's cool that that meant something to, or it showed to other people that I'm in the sport and I love the sport. And keeping a good attitude through all that is pretty important, and it shows to other people. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited. PCC, it's a totally different game.
Oh, it is.
Learning it. I mean, going from production to PCC, I had no idea. Yeah, rifle's easier. It's easier. PCC is not easier. That is just
different.
It might be. It's easier to get an alpha, yes, but it is completely different challenge, and it is full race on.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot blink. I mean, if you blink in alphas in production and get, you know, or fairly fast doing it, you know, you'll be somewhere in there. You won't be at the top, but you'll be No. PCC, oh my gosh, you cannot play. There's a lot to it. A lot more to it than I thought. I was very humbled by that. Don't ever talk to Devin publicly about stuff I have said about PCC. She will be like, do you remember what you said?
Oh, made fun of it? Yeah.
Like, oh no, that is just, I mean, I talk smack about it, and here I am, and I'm like, oh, y'all have no idea about this.
So much fun. It's so much. I was the same person. I never even considered it, and then I shot it, and I was like, ugh, I get it. But yeah, so to your point though about PCC, the different challenges, like when you're retreating on a stage, that is completely different when it's easy to tuck a pistol. Completely different. And then walls. I mean, you have these hard lean outs and you're going, you know, turning whichever direction, you're having to clear a wall. That looks like throwing it over your shoulder or something completely different than people do not realize. Manipulating a rifle is completely different. Those stupid classifiers where you have to reload a rifle. I'd love to see you try that. That is where I'm completely a novice, and I was classified correctly in IDPA because I cannot do that. But yeah, I mean, and like you said, it is all about speed. I don't even know how people shoot as fast as they do in just in any division, but there's a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah. So you shot an IDPA match with PCC.
Uh-huh.
I would like to say I'd never do that, but I probably would. How was that?
Okay. First of all, no. So me and Ryan made a, I won't say that, but we always try to challenge each other to win. And so I was like, Ryan, we have 2 spots that nobody was using, and it's in Tennessee. It was like an hour from us. We're like, we got to go. So we both sign up. We both get a membership on a Thursday. We get squatted on a Friday. We both shoot our classifier Friday and Saturday, and the match is Saturday. So we literally get our novices. And then he got something, expert, master, I don't know, something up there, right? And ended up beating him. But it's because it's a whole different game of speed and accuracy mixed in, and accuracy is kind of more important. And then we didn't know the rules. So like he pegged so many of the non-threats. I pegged a few. His foot was on the wrong side of the stick. So he was, it was just a whole thing. And I forgot to do something else. I don't even know. Oh, the order of shooting is just not a thing that I think of.
How many what's the mag limitations for PCC? Is it
30 rounds.
30.
Yeah, which didn't matter because none of the stages were over like 18. I think they can't have more than 18. It's completely different, but
yeah, I wonder why we don't shoot that sport.
Yeah. And for me, like me and Ryan both, we went to IDPA because we're like, we're going to do this for funsies and for practice. And I needed it for accuracy because my thing is accuracy. That's where I'm losing points is on there. The speed's there for the most part.
Right.
But yeah, don't shoot IDPA. That was a hard thing. I don't say don't, but oh my God. And with pistol, it's so much more complicated. So every squad mate, like if there's 2, 4, 6, 3 targets and they have 11 rounds or 10 or whatever, then it's 3, 6, 9, they throw some extra shots so that way it locks back and then they can reload easier. If not, you have to like tack reload, and it was a headache. So like these stage plans, you had to figure out where you're going to drop a mag and reload a mag, and some are standing reloads.
Yeah, they just shoot till empty, essentially.
Yeah, and I can't do that. Or like justifying 2, 4, 6 shots in 11 rounds, and like that's not a waste, but for me it is a waste because you're just throwing targets, and I don't know.
You could tack reload, you know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if I would do that or how I would do that. I don't have any mags set
under
up on
concealment, maybe.
Do what?
Under concealment too. Like, I don't know.
I have no idea how people do that. And like PC, you don't have to wear the concealment garment, and you don't have to have like this limitation on rounds and reload, except in the classifiers. So I'll take it.
Oh yeah. Well, nicely done. Man, I'll be like, so I'm here with IDPA in this long gun. Let's go.
The argument, this is the funny part. Ryan argues this. He says he thinks that PCC is and I'm going to probably make people mad listening to this, is a legit like defensive gun, right? So if you had to use a weapon and you got the rifle, a PC like that, it belongs in IDPA. I don't know if that's true or not in my thought process. So we kind of argue that back and forth. Yeah, I don't know.
A short one would be like a SBR.
SBR, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But ours, I mean, there's 16-inch barrels, plus you have the upper and lower there, and then our extension is a little bit further out. So like you're looking at, I don't even know how many inches that is. That's a lot. I wouldn't be clearing a house with that big ass gun.
Yeah, inside a house. But I mean, SBR, I mean, you could have a whole little army come in, you could take all of them out with that thing, but it's not the norm, right? But I have seen videos, it's like, oh yeah, how many rounds is good for me, governor or whoever, when there are like 3 people enter your house, which that's entirely possible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think an SBR wouldn't be half bad if that happened to you.
Yeah.
Totally possible.
We're not just SBR.
You've done with 3 people up in a house, not just one person.
Yeah. Yeah. I built pistols instead of SBRs, but I did the AR pistols and I really like mine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We've digressed. What was I going to talk about? Okay, so PCC move. Yep, Davinci came on board. You know, for you too, like when you started out shooting, what classification are you? And now you're batting down at A class almost.
Well, I'm not. I'm on my way. 100%.
Yeah, you are. You are.
In fact, my percentage went up with this last match, and it was kind of rough, but I see where my gains are at, and I see where I'm going, and I can see it, and I can taste it. And I'm going to get after it. But my percentage even just went up based on my major match performance, which is cool. I don't think I ever saw that in pistol. If I'm shooting pistol and I go to a major match, I could have B class classification. I've never been over 60%, I don't think, like at a major match, but I'm there now, and I just got 65%, and that got rid of the classifier that was bad, and now I'm higher class just because of major match performance. That's good. But I started with this. I think I finally got classified in USPSA in Billings. It took like almost the whole season. Wow. It was one match at a time, so that takes a pretty long time because you have to get 6,
4. Well, technically time? 4, but yeah, they want 6.
Well, for the first one, for the very first classification, you have to get like 6.
Yeah,
and so that was like 6 matches.
Yep.
You know, and I was super shocked when I was totally a D class. I was like, "What?" Mm-hmm. Like, but I beat C class people. I'm like, I don't get it. No, you're D class. So then the next year, I think I made C class, and that was in New Hampshire, and then I shot Florida State in 2020. 2020, and I made B class then.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And like you said, it's, oh my God, it's the tools. Getting PCC was so new, you know, I still think there's, like you said, kinks to work out. And I don't know how people build their own, like kudos to them and get it to run. Jason Clark, good job. I can't do that. The ones that have worked are the ones that I've literally bought and they run out of the box. I'm like, cool, we're done.
Right. Yeah. That's, I mean, I had good guns, but you can't, I was throwing like flathead ammo in there. I'm like, oh, you're not supposed to do that?
No.
Okay. Although I'm pretty sure I haven't tried it. I'll have to try it in my Davinci. I'm pretty sure that eats anything.
Yeah.
And I will say another great thing this year is, so last time I was at this range in North Carolina, the same one we were at, the Rowan County Wildlife Association. I shot this North Carolina section that they had. I think it was in September last year.
Yeah.
And I shot factory ammo, the 160 power factor.
That's hot.
Yeah, a little bit hot. This year, I came on with Outdoor Dynamics, ammo company out of North Carolina, and they made a specific PCC load for me. Mm-hmm. We developed that together and ran great out of the gun. Chrono comes up, it's cold outside. Okay, let's see. I was 133 power factor.
So good. Really
so game changer. Like, I mean, sure, you're shooting a long gun, you can shoot whatever, but the ammo works, and the fact that it's not crazy hot is also very nice. So it's nice to finally be a little bit more competitive, even just in my gear.
Oh yeah,
and have things that work and work well together. It is just a wonderful, harmonious thing. Just makes me so happy. When things go wrong, it's all my fault. Like, let it be all my fault.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's heartbreaking to watch for sure. I mean, yeah, and it takes years. You know, people get in the sport and they try to compare themselves to other people. You can only compare yourself to yourself, but the gear requirements sometimes, PC is a lot less, which I like because I can take my belt on and off all day long without going to a safe table.
Yes.
Small wins. But yeah, ammo, optics, all the things. That's really cool though.
Yes. The one thing I have to do next, which I just haven't really cared, I may or may not still have my production belt set up on right now.
Christina.
I don't have to reload that much, so I'm just like, but I need to do the whole tilt sideways thing and take it to the PCC magazine carrier. I know, it's a little bit ridiculous, but I don't know if I've really had to use it in a major match once yet, but, oh wait, no, I did. Nationals. Okay.
You still have a backup mag on, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's I carry a backup mag. It's just, straight up and down.
I'm sorry. I didn't even notice that, but I
got a little tilt for the other one, but I'm sure I can do a little bit faster reload if I get the right gear on, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. So if you were to switch over back to pistol, you said you'd probably carry optics, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. That's where everything is. I feel like that's where everyone is. I mean, looking at the match registrations for any match now, it's like quadruple the numbers of any other category, if not more, way more.
Of course, I just say that for me and stuff, but what would really be fun is open. Yes, please. Like after PCC, like, okay, oh my gosh, open. I mean, that's who wins a match if if the stages are built correctly. It's not PCC because we got to deal with those walls and all those other things that actually slow us down. Versus if you're running with a pistol and even just running with the weight of a PCC. I was just talking about this with somebody last night. You run and sometimes you let your gun go down or something like that when you're going from, like, if you're a righty, if you're going right to left versus like holding it up in center like you would with a pistol. Yep. And maybe you should be doing that with PCC. I don't know, but the weight alone is just, it depends.
Well, you're fighting major power factor as well versus minor.
Right.
Yeah, which it can be done. I'm not good enough to do that.
Right.
It can be done. Okay, so what are your goals for 2022 season? I know it's April and we're kind of in there, but what would they be?
I'm going to climb that B class ladder. I'm going to climb it. I'll climb it as fast as I can, but ideally I would not mind going into nationals. B class still, because that is extremely, extremely competitive.
Yeah.
In PCC or any, I mean, B class is huge.
Yeah.
In any division, I'm sure. So that's extremely, and I know I can be competitive there, and I would like to get A class by the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then
you're there. You're right there. You dare shoot a classifier match, you're like A class. Bye, Kenzie. See you later.
You would think, but my dumb ass. So I don't know why. I know how to do this. Every time I would insert a mag into an empty PCC, like on the classifier stages, I forget to send the bolt for it. So I just go click. I'm like, oh my God, dumbass. So I have to like rack it. And I'm like, duh. Plus, I have one of my guns.
Sorry, we actually just downgraded you to C class because of that.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, 100%. Oh my God. And then like last round bolt open is new to me. Like I didn't have that. Like I don't even have a bolt catch on my original PCC. So for me, like I have to get used to like putting it in, just hitting the button on the side and then going straight to shooting. Dude, if classifiers weren't stupid, I would be better.
Fair.
I don't know, but no, like when I look at percentage, for like my matches stuff, it's literally like 77, 78%, you know, or it's one of them, I mean, local-ish.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah.
Summer, was it Alabama? Alabama's like something a lot higher, 80 something. I don't know, but I'm not B. I'm like A-ish.
Yep, you're there.
I don't even know A-ish.
Go on, get out. I don't need
I would love to.
Sandbaggery in B class, okay?
I would love to.
Stuff, Kenzie, all right.
If I didn't screw up stage 1 and 2 at area 6, being afraid of my ankle, no joke, like I would have been able to bump. And that's all I wanted, and I didn't do it. Boo.
Next one. Yeah,
South Carolina is actually a really fun match. Have you shot that one before?
No.
Sectionals is awesome out there. So they do the staff reset. It's a half-day format, and it's a fast pace because you have less people in a squad, but it's really fun. Like they had all sorts of swingers. They had clamshells, and they had like low ports. One that was like literally pretty much on the ground shooting at steel underneath these like tires. It was really cool.
Oh, great. You and I are both probably going to get injured on that.
It hurt. Oh, and that was in the middle of the stage. So like you had to shoot, go down, and then you get back up and like go finish.
Oh, wow.
That'll be good. So what else are you shooting? South Carolina sectionals, obviously nationals.
Dragons Cup, baby.
That's going to be a good match for you.
Yes.
Looks like
I shot that production last year. So.
Okay.
And that was, well, I shot Florida Open last year, and then I shot that match. So it wasn't very intimidating, but it was a very hard match. Very hard. I knew because I saw Jessie Harrison in the match, and she's like, this is a hard match. I'm like, it is? And it's like, oh, because I just shot the Open, and like what I learned from the Open last year was how to walk away from steel and just forget it and just go. Like, that's what I learned. Like,
sure.
No war. Like, magazine empty in production. I'm going now. Bye-bye. Like, like, just take it. Just take the penalty. It was very, very, very hard.
Goodbye.
Very, very hard match. Oh, man. But, so Dragons Cup, once you did that, nothing was intimidating shooting production. But Dragons Cup was great. It was a different start. I don't know if it had like the same start on any stage.
Cool.
There's something different on every stage. So that'll be good for PCC. That'll be different.
Yeah.
They even had like a visual start. I wonder if they'll do that this year. That was different. Like go based on the flashing light, not the beep.
Yep. That's a whole different thing to get used to. And if you're not used to it, being sensory.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I still haven't done, I haven't been shooting PCC long enough where there's still things I've never done with the gun before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
okay,
that'll be interesting.
Dragons Cup. And then what? Because that's still May-ish.
Then we're in June. That's Doc Welt.
Yep. Florida. Good match. It's gonna be hot as hell.
Fun. Yeah, I have got to bring something to cover my face because I'll be free diving on Monday. And last time I coughed for like 2 weeks after being at that range. Coughing at like 60 feet underwater. That won't work. And then July. What's in July? I know something. Oh, yes. The Trident match in Maine State.
Okay.
So Maine, and then I think I'm going to catch Area 8.
Okay. I'm going to try that. That's August. Yeah.
Yep. I have got to do Redemption there. That was probably my worst match of my life. PCC malfunctions. Not going to have any of that this year. And then I had never practiced left leans for that match, and there were tons of them. So like on my 5th stage of the day, it was a big left leaning, and there was no shoot targets, and I like couldn't see anything. It was just so awful. And then I had 2 FTSAs because I ran right by him after getting flustered with my awful situation. So it was like, I don't know. It was non-comebackable. That's for sure. It was awful.
Non-comebackable. It's funny, like, when something stops you and like you're stuck, like when you're messing with a gun or something happens, like it throws off your entire mind, like blank. Yeah.
So Area 8, and then I'm going to shoot in New Mexico for the first time.
I saw that Davinci's sponsoring that, the title sponsor.
Yep. So they're getting me to New Mexico, and that'll be cool. I mean, there will be no optic shooters at that match.
Yeah.
Or only local ones because they'll be at nationals. And then that's September, and then October, that would be nationals.
Very cool.
Going in the Creek Don't Rise. That's where I'll be. And there is potential for the North Carolina section.
The Carolina Classic or section? Is that
Classic?
Okay.
Classic.
I will be there Sunday.
Yeah, nice. See, I'd like to, but I think that might be too much. Because it's one weekend and then the next one, and that's just.
Oh, I'm doing 2 matches in 2 states in that weekend.
Nice. Awesome.
Shooting all day Saturday, driving North Carolina, shooting all day Sunday, driving right back. Woohoo!
So for Trident match, a class popped up with Josh Froelich and Max Leograndes in Minnesota. So I'm going to shoot that match and then hop on a plane, go to Minnesota, and then take a class all day on Sunday.
That's going to be an awesome class. Yeah. It's awesome.
I'm excited.
Those are good.
It's hard to find PCC specific training.
Yeah. I don't know.
World-renowned shooters for pistol all around, but PCC, there's some stuff to that. So.
Oh yeah. No, that'll be a really good class. Those are 2 major beasts, and they can run rifles as well. So, heck yeah, awesome. So, and then you mentioned your sponsors, Outdoor Dynamics, of course, Davinci. Who else do you work with? They're on your head.
Some hunters HG Gold. Now, and people don't realize this; these are prescriptions, so I need them to see. So. Too far away, so I will wear them all the time wherever I go, and
awesome.
They're good for light and, as you know, night, day, all the things. So people have no idea. They'll make fun and they're like, "Oh, they changed, so you don't have to." I'm like, "Have you worn these at nighttime in a storm or with bright shining in your face?" It's pretty phenomenal. So everything works really well. It's doing pretty good. So this year is a whole different ball game. And I'm excited about it.
Good. Now, for you too, is there a move after Miami?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
I know, right?
I really like Miami. I like it a lot. It's sunny. I've started diving, so water's nearby and good-looking water. I mean, the Keys is just the Keys starts an hour from me. Sure, I'm far away from everything. That and my family is here. My brother just moved here from LA. He lives in Delray Beach, just a little north, and he's my dive friend. And then my dad lives in Cocoa Beach. My mom's still in Virginia, but our family's been all around the country. So to be by family, the first time within hours of each other. I mean, this is the first time it's happened in my adult life. So
cool.
I like it here.
Do you get to pick and choose where you live, or do you get orders where it's hey, we need you here, go?
Oh yeah, no, I always get to pick.
Okay. So
now I'm working for a health system, so I can only go where their hospitals are. But I checked. I was like, "Do you have anything in Arizona?" And they said yes, and that's a state that I have not explored that is on my list. So potentially I could skedaddle over there. We'll see.
Very cool. I think the neat thing too about shooting is you've already said it, everybody in different states and across the country. So moving is not as scary. I've done it when you have that network of people that I can reach out to a USPSA club and find home,
Oh yes, 100%. I mean, and that's what I've been doing, place to place. I mean, in Iowa, I had really good friends at work, but otherwise, it's only been shooting people.
Yeah.
And I mean, and family is the word I would use for many of them. There's even just being here in Miami, been here a year now. I mean, if I'm calling somebody, I guess I can call my brother, my actual family, but I'm calling a shooter, arrested or something. Tell me out, okay?
You're gonna call Craig.
I'm not there yet, but
oh god, that's so funny. Well, yeah, we'll leave that one alone. Never mind.
I'm just trying to get to the range with this guy.
All right, go train. Yeah. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you do want to talk about?
No, I mean, not without going too far down a rabbit hole, I don't think.
Okay. Love it. Now,
but I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do. It's, people talk about like female shooters and they get everything or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, you don't know what it's like to not be able to, I mean, we end up by ourselves a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In a group sport, everything's fun. You know, we can all go out together, but there's something about being a female and being above reproach, and you can't just hop in a car full of dudes sometimes, and you can't share a hotel room with a dude, or you can't and you get stuck by yourself. So financially alone, it's way more burdensome as a female and a shooter. Yeah. I don't realize that. It's like financially alone, I mean, you're by yourself all the time. Yeah. And, it's okay, but it's expensive and you're, by yourself, which is fine because when you get to the range with everybody, it's fun, but there's something to it. And I don't think people think about that all the time.
No. And I mean, and the other females like that aren't single, they don't see it either. They're splitting costs or travel. And they're best friend, which I'm happy for. But yeah, it's a totally different life that people don't see. Because like you said, you're very much can't do the things that dudes do or share.
It would be easy to do this, but I'm like, no, I can't.
No. Yeah. So I love it. I'm glad you're here. I was going to ask you what your social media handle is so people can follow you, but you're probably going to change it anyways because you should.
We'll have to talk about that more, but it's
right.
Glock_girl_RN on Instagram, and it's Glock Girl at RN Shooter on Facebook.
Love it. Yeah, so I'll have to change that to I don't know.
Listen, we've talked about this with Duda before, which is PCC still takes Glock mags, and I still carry a Glock 43 every day. So
you and me both. There you go.
So, and I have I may have a Glock tattooed on my body somewhere. So I mean, Glock is still very much a part of me. But I guess I don't shoot Glocks in competition much anymore. So
you might go back for carry optics. You never know. But no. So yeah, Instagram for sure. We'll keep that for now. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for sharing all the things and talking politics too. That's difficult to do, and I'm glad you did. So
yeah, I'm a big supporter of DC Project. You can follow them, look them up, donate. Great female gun advocate group. Yeah, do a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot that females' voices are a little bit better sometimes than men in terms of speaking up because we just go through stuff that's a lot different.
Right,
a lot different. But all right, we won't go too far down that one either. So thanks for listening. Go follow Christina. And girl, I will see you this year crushing matches. I'm really excited to be shooting with you for sure. I love it. Thanks for the support too and all of your woos at the end of the videos.
Yes, oh my gosh. I'm like, I only want to shoot with girl shooters from now on. I'm like, the encouragement is amazing. And it really helps. It's awesome. So maybe the guys should be more woohoo.
Yeah, they're so quiet, and I'm always stoked to see people shoot.
Good job, man. No, like woo, good job. Let's go.
We should just bring pom poms. Orange pom poms.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Warren Show. Yeah, there we go. David, he'll like that one.
Oh gosh. All right, guys. Tune in to the next episode. Stay tuned for next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.